Hello and welcome to my talk. My name is Sharan Foga and I'm here to talk to you about welcoming diversity. So, welcoming diversity, what does that mean? Well, diversity and inclusion has been an important part of the Apache Software Foundation because all our projects depend on diverse contributors and they all work together to deliver our projects. So it's important for us to make sure that our projects can self-sustain by attracting new contributors and diverse contributors. So first of all, let me tell you a little bit about myself. So who am I? So my name is Sharan. I'm originally from the UK. You can see from these photographs here that I like smiling. I'm a very happy person. I like to smile a lot. I like to laugh as well. And I like being around people that are happy. And I try and make people happy that are not happy. I'm a very happy person. I'm also a bit of a traveler. So I mentioned that I'm from the UK. I have also lived and worked in France, in Belgium, in New Zealand, in the Czech Republic. I'm now based in Stockholm in Sweden. So you can see that I travel around for work as well. And that doesn't even include the places that I travel to visit. So that's why I see myself as a bit of a traveler. I like meeting new people and going to new places. My work in my day job, I work as an IT project manager. And that's quite interesting because it's more about collaboration. I am like the bridge between the business and IT. So I work with the teams to make sure that we can deliver the projects and deliver value as well. So, and that is not too different to what Apache is about collaboration, about delivering things together. So my open source journey started in 2008, where I became a contributor to the Apache OFBiz project. I became a committer, a PMC member, and then I actually got involved with Apache community development. So Apache community development is more about community topics and community development throughout all of Apache projects. So looking at the wider Apache projects and how we could help to provide guidance, tools, discussion, all range of things to try and help improve community collaboration. I was VP for Apache community development for several years, and I've just this year been elected to the board of directors. So it's an amazing honor to be elected to the board of directors at the Apache Software Foundation. So I see my open source journey. It's still not over yet. I'm still traveling. So I'm sure there's new adventures to happen there. So that's just a little bit about myself. So going back to our topic of welcoming diversity, I wanted to share with you a story about something that happened to me that's quite relevant to the welcoming diversity topic. So a couple of years ago, I think it was 2019, I was invited to Shanghai to be a keynote at the CosCon conference. So I was really, really excited because I'd never done a keynote before, but I was also a little bit nervous because I'd never been to China before. It was a bit new to me. And the thing here is that doing new things can actually make us a little nervous. And I think it's normal because you're not sure what's going to happen. So you are a bit nervous and think, oh, you know, is it going to go well? And in my case, it was, I'd never been to China before. And I thought, well, I would probably stand out. I don't look like many of the people that are in China. I don't speak the language. I look different. I speak differently. Would people treat me differently? Would people stand and stare? Would I be the odd one out there? And that was some of the things that I was thinking about, in this, before, going to Shanghai. And it's understandable because it's something new. So anyway, I thought, well, even with the nervousness, I would go. So I packed my case and went flew to Shanghai. I arrived at the airport, went through customs and immigration. So customs and immigration, they're always very, very serious people. So because they have an important job. So I cleared customs and immigration, got to the hotel, and then the next day went to the conference. And once again, still a bit sort of nervous because I didn't think I knew many people, and it was going to be maybe a bit difficult and stuff. But I actually got there, and it was, hey, Sharon, do you not remember me? I've spoken to you on the mailing list. Or, hey, Sharon, thank you for sending me some stickers. Or, hey, Sharon, we met at ApacheCon, you at the booth, you talked to me. And I realized that there were people there that I did know, and that knew me. And that was amazing because it was so welcoming. I could feel the welcome spirit. Even the people I didn't know were really, really happy to talk to me, to meet me, to listen, to talk. And it was a really great experience. And I remember thinking to myself afterwards, what was I afraid of? There wasn't anything to be afraid of. Going to CosCon, I experienced what Apache, the Apache family feeling, I think like people call it, where you go somewhere and people that you have been collaborating with or talking to on the mailing list, you actually meet in real life. And it was a bit like that to me there. And it was really, really nice, really welcoming, really happy. I had nothing to be afraid of. And I would really gladly go back to China for another event. So what's the reason that I'm telling you this story? The reason I'm telling you this story is because my experience can be a bit like people that are interested in contributing to open source, but are a bit scared or a bit nervous about their first contribution or coming into open source. So these are some of the things that we need to be aware of, that some of these people may feel a bit sort of shy or nervous about joining a community. So one of the things that is really, really special about Apache is the way that we behave and our culture, the way that we work together, the way we collaborate, the way we do things. And we have certain values about how we collaborate. And if you think about the way that we collaborate, I would look at summarizing these with I think 3 words. The first word I would use as part of the Apache Way is respect. And this is the way that we behave and to other people. We treat them with courtesy. We also respect them by actually listening to them, because listening to what they're trying to say. So we can listen and understand. So mutual respect is a core part of the Apache Way. The second word I would use to describe the Apache Way is openness. And here we're talking about not only the transparency, being transparent with somebody, being honest and being open with them about your intention and what you want to do, but also in being open yourself to other points of view, other things that other people might tell you. So this is also a key aspect, because this is how we collaborate, how we understand, how we work together, how we spark different ideas. The third word I would use for the Apache Way is collaboration, because by collaborating, that's how we build things together, how we work together, how we do things together. So respect, openness, and collaboration. And together, they give us community over code. And you hear this phrase a lot in Apache, community over code. So what does it mean? In essence, it means that people matter. The people in our communities matter more than the code they produce. And why is that? Considering we have all these software projects, It's because, you know, having a community that cares about the code means that the code will be cared for in the future. If you have code that no community cares about, then the code will be there, but nobody will be there to look after it. So having a healthy community is always important. So the people always come first, and the people that are working together collaboratively, respectfully, openly, produce good code that will self-sustain into the future. This is the Apache way. So when we look at Apache and we think about diversity and inclusion, this picture that I'm just showing you here on the slide, this was a board that was put up at the last in-person event. I think this was ApacheCon in Berlin in 2019. And the objective of the board was for you to put details of where you come from and what sort of field you work in, what topic you work in. And I think at the time we counted 29 different nationalities at ApacheCon EU, and that was amazing. But if you think about diversity, diversity itself has multiple dimensions. Nationality and country of where you come from is only one of them. Other things are things like gender, economic, socioeconomic, education, lots of different dimensions. So when you talk about, you know, how diverse we are, we need to be careful, because we need to say, right, okay, it's to do with, you know, gender, or it's to do with socioeconomics, it's to do with education, it's to do with other things. So, you know, diversity is multi-dimensional. But even so, we have tried to capture the picture of what diversity is like within the Apache Software Foundation. And that means that we have done some diversity surveys. So the first committed diversity survey was done in 2016, and I was involved in that. And what I was looking for there was, I was doing some outreach work to try and encourage more women to be involved in open source. And I wanted to get a feeling for what Apache was like, on the committers anyway, as what Apache was like from a gender diversity perspective. So I put together the diversity survey to try and see how we stood. And the results, I think, came back as something like 80% or 82%, something like this, male, and the rest non-male. So it was quite low, but I mean, I think it gave us something to a benchmark for us to look at and say, right, okay, we know that it's low. Now we need to do some things to try and improve it. What other strategies can we use to improve, to have more women involved in open source? The second diversity survey happened in 2020 because we saw that diversity and inclusion was a very, very important topic for the Apache Software Foundation. So we created a new project called Diversity and Inclusion, and with the main focus of looking at diversity and inclusion and improving it within the foundation. So that project also did a diversity survey, and they did that in 2020. And they did that across the board, not only committers, but also all contributors that was open to. And they found some interesting conclusions. And essentially, they found that, you know, minorities within open source and within the foundation face challenges. They face challenges with mentors, mentorship. They face challenges with language. And this is one of the things that we can maybe help with, in the sense that, you know, we communicate in English on our mailing lists, and yet when you talk about the global community, not everybody's first language is English. So it means then that there is a challenge for people whose first language is not English, there where people use different slang, or they use complicated language, or all sorts of different things. So it can be difficult when you can't express yourself well in a language to be able to be part and collaborate well. So these were some of the things that were found in the diversity surveys. So what can we do to help? What can we do to improve the situation for the people that are, to encourage diversity? Well, one of the things we can do is to try and help lower the barriers. So one of the things that we can do is to make sure that information about how to contribute is clear and easily findable for new contributors. We can promote what we're doing in social media. We can also use other languages. So if we can try and lower these barriers, then we can encourage and reach more people. We can also encourage and reward different types of contribution. Now, you remember my story. I said I began contributing to a project, Apache OFBiz, in 2008. My contributions were non-coding contributions. I did work such as testing, documentation, responding to questions on the mailing list, etc. And I became a committer for that. I didn't do any code contributions. I was made a committer for that. So by doing that, that is also encouraging other people to see that, hey, if you do these things, that you can also become a committer. And if you think about what we need to do and achieve in a project, there is lots and lots of different areas that we are needing help apart from coding. Marketing, event organization, design, UX, testing, all these areas, the sort of contributions that can be for non-coding. So make sure that, if you have these types of contributors in your community, make sure they are rewarded as well, because their work gains merit. Their work is merit as well. One thing also I'd like to mention here is around intolerance. So when I did the original survey in 2016, some of the comments that we got back were that from some of the women there was that they didn't feel comfortable on some of the mailing lists, and some of the contributors were intolerant to them. So I mean, I think this is really important, that you need to be aware of any intolerance that is happening on the mailing list or in any of your project sort of media, social media, etc. And also be aware of any Apache Code of Conduct violations, especially on the mailing list and the Apache spaces. So the violations that we manage within the Apache space are subject to our code of conduct. So if you see people reacting or behaving inappropriately, badly towards other members of the community, then this is something that needs to be reported or called out and stopped, really, so that you can encourage diversity, because you don't want to push away new contributors because of just who they are. So one of the things over the last year and a half now, with the global pandemic, it has been really difficult to have any in-person events. So, how do we keep that active participation going in our communities? Meanwhile, there's this, restriction in being able to travel and to meet each other and to do things together. Well, Apache our projects work remotely anyway. And we work online, and we're used to the mailing list and the discussions and things like that. So in theory, the pandemic, it has been a problem for our in-person events, but for our day-to-day work, it's still the same. So here, I don't see that we've had too much change. One of the things that the community development team have introduced and brought up, and this has been active for, I think, about just over a year now, is an initiative that we call the Apache Local Community, ALC. And what we have here is we have local groups of Apache people or Apache enthusiasts, people that are involved with an Apache project, where they set up like a meetup group in their local area or the local city. And what this means then is that they can do meetups and event participation in various languages. So we can run content in India, in Hindi, in Poland, in Polish, in Hungary, in Hungarian, so like this. So it's really, really great to reach out to the contributors where English may be a problem or difficult for them to express themselves. So now we have groups of people in our Apache local communities that are promoting Apache and Apache projects to people using their local language. And this is a great initiative. And I know that, you know, say within COVID, the in-person events are not happening so much, but even so, the online events in local language are doing well. I think once the pandemic has subsided, which we hope will be done soon, that we can actually go back to having some of these in-person events where it's always been great to sort of meet people. I mean, I have spent a lot of time on the Apache booth. So for people that may recognize me, I've been on the Apache booth at events and spoken to people, and I know that being at the booth is really nice energy. One of the things that the picture that I have here is the Apache feather, and as I mentioned, the last in-person events that we had were in Las Vegas and also in Berlin, where we had the 20th anniversary of Apache Software Foundation, where we had this big feather, and we asked all the people that came to the conference to sign it, because the feather symbolizes our Apache family, our Apache communities. And you can see that, you know, all the people that were there, that signed, that put little notes, that put little comments on the feather, they were there, they were happy, they were really excited, they were energy. This feather symbolizes our community, and it's something that will keep as a memento as well. So we hope that, you know, in the future, when we have another 20 years or 25 years of Apache, we'll do something similar and see whether or not we have even more. So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about was a tool that we have available to all Apache projects, and this is Apache Kibble. And Apache Kibble is an aggregator of information. So what we have done, this existing tool, we have pulled in all the information for all Apache projects, including the incubating ones, where you can actually get a view of all the projects. You can actually get some statistics on your project. You can actually look at new contributors, for example. So I just pulled out a couple of the graphics here, where you can have new code contributors, new issue contributors, new mailing list contributors, and you can see that who were the newcomers, when they did their first commit, when they sent their first message, etc. So this could be an interesting tool for those of you who want to keep track of when new people are appearing on your mailing lists or on your code or on your issue tracker or whatever. And you can maybe reach out to them and recognize them for their first contribution. So this is a way that this tool could maybe help you just give those new contributors that confidence to keep going, that their work, and showing them that their work is being appreciated. And I think that's something important, especially when you're new, because you do something, you submit something, and you're thinking, well, you know, is it okay? Is it not okay? So if you get some recognition or get some support or some feedback about your contribution, then that's something that will encourage you to do something more. So how do we show this welcoming spirit to our new contributors? Well, one of the things I mentioned already was around non-coding. So let non-coders know that you want them to. So in your messages, in your communications, in your blogs, in your updates, in your reports, in your you know, help wanted, whatever, show that you're looking for the non-coding people as well, so they can see that, you know, they have something to contribute. Help new contributors become confident and comfortable. And this is, you know, using feedback, using some sort of mentor system, whatever, you know, if you have like some sort of coding buddy or community buddy that will help them to answer questions that they can reach out to if they need to while they become familiar with what's going on in the project. You know, have patience with the non-native English people, because I know that our mailing lists are English, they're archived, but people whose English is not their first language may have problems expressing themselves. And also as well, they may accidentally use the wrong word, and that word might be a keyword that's maybe sounds aggressive or triggers a strong emotion, and it was not meant that way. So, I mean, the thing here is to assume good intent, that people are wanting to communicate, are wanting to collaborate. So make sure that, you know, you're not jumping to conclusions. You're not assuming that they understand exactly the same interpretation of you as you do, because you are different from them. So, you know, this is this different perspective, this different view, how you interpret the world, how they interpret the world. And it's the differences that make us stronger. So to finish, that, you know, how to show the welcoming spirit, the 3 key words again: show respect, be open, and collaborate. Thank you.